Which brings me to our agenda for today. I'm going to start the presentation with a little discussion on Chromebook accessibility features. I'll try and keep that short and sweet, under 10 minutes. And then after I go, we will hear from Victor Soria on Microsoft Translator. And then our third presenter this afternoon is going to be Christy Driver on Canva and collaboration. And then I will round it out with the final housekeeping items and just a quick discussion of Schooly in Schoology. And again, as you have questions, pop them in the Q&A up at the top. All right, let's go ahead and get started here with Chromebook accessibility features. So as you guys know, your students have Chromebooks, and there are some accessibility features built in the Chromebooks to help make them a little bit easier to manage. I have a quick little 3-minute video here that's going to go over some of those features. So we're going to take a look at this video together. And I'm going to need someone to let me know if my computer sound isn't working. I think I'm sharing it properly, but let me know if you can't hear it. And then we'll take a look at some of the other accessibility resources available to you to help your students use their Chromebooks better. So let's watch the video.
Welcome back to EDU in 90. Tim and Morgan here, and on this episode, we'll highlight some of the useful accessibility tools available on Chromebooks.
That's right. Schools include all different types of learners, with educators working hard to support their diverse needs. So it's critical that they have the tools to keep students included, engaged, and informed throughout the learning process. Today, we'll examine how Google's Chromebook accessibility tools support individual learning styles with built-in accommodations.
Students have diverse abilities and wide-ranging needs, and Chromebooks come with assistive technologies built in, as well as the ability to support additional technologies. These enable users to customize their device and browser's functionality to best meet their needs so they can focus on learning.
Best of all, users can customize their own Chromebook accessibility settings just once, and then those settings are automatically applied when they sign in on any device.
That way, in classrooms that share Chromebooks, students and teachers can be supported with every login without spending extra time updating their settings. Students can also log in from their Chromebook at home and maintain the same accessibility settings that they use in school. Let's take a look at some of the built-in tools that are especially useful on Chromebooks.
Students who are low vision or blind and need additional support can choose from a variety of visual aids within Chromebooks, including high contrast mode, full page zoom, magnification, and more. Chromebooks also come built in with the ChromeVox screen reader, which reads all the text on the screen aloud and can be enabled or disabled at any time.
Another screen reading option is Select to Speak, which allows students to highlight the specific words on a page they want read aloud and see word by word highlighting.
For users who have limited hearing in one ear, Chromebooks can play the same sound through both speakers so you don't miss a word.
And students who struggle with keyboards or have difficulty typing can instead use their Chromebook's on-screen keyboard, which enables them to generate text with a touch, a mouse, or a joystick.
These are just a few of the many ways Chromebooks empower students to engage with their written and audiovisual learning materials. Accessibility features are a huge focus of Google for Education product teams, and if you'd like to learn more about how Google Chrome's accessibility features can support students in your classroom, check out the links below.
And we're always looking for ways to improve the usefulness of our tools. In the comments below, tell us which accessibility features you find most useful and what features and functionality you'd like to see added in the future. We'll see you next time.
Okay, so that's the little video there. So they kind of teased a few different features, but there's a lot of great things that can be done on the Chromebooks. So on the next slide here, I do have some helpful accessibility shortcuts. And one that I highlighted here is one that I know teachers email me often to turn off, and that's that high contrast mode, which we saw in the video where it turns everything black and you have those bright neon colors. Sometimes students turn it on accidentally and need help turning it off, and sometimes they turn it on purpose and say their Chromebook is broken. It's not broken, it's high contrast mode. And there are some keyboard shortcuts to quickly disable that or switch it back to regular view mode. So what you'll see here is on the left, you have the different accessibility shortcut, what it does, and then on the right, you have what you would press on your keyboard. So for example, for the high contrast mode, you would find the search key, which on Chromebooks is where the enter key or the No, it's where the caps lock key is. But it's over on the left-hand side of the keyboard. You look for the little magnifying glass, press and hold that, press and hold Control, and then H, and that is going to turn on or off high contrast mode. You'll see some of the other helpful shortcuts here. And if you're panicking and saying there's no way in heck I'm going to remember all of those, that's okay. I'm going to send you guys a copy of the slide deck tomorrow after I take attendance. And so you can come into the slide deck, you can print out just this slide, and you'll have some handy shortcuts to help your students out. Now, by all means, this is not all of the available accessibility features. So I have some quick links for you guys that once you get the slide deck, you can go through and explore. The first one is an interactive tutorial. Since as teachers, we don't have Chromebooks, this tutorial is going to let you simulate some of the accessibility features. So I can say explore accessibility features, and I can say make part of your screen larger. And in just a moment here, it is going to walk me through the steps on how to do that. So you can see here, I'm just kind of clicking on some of this stuff, and then I can practice some of the different controls here. So if you're interested in learning how to do some of these accessibility shortcuts, you can click on this interactive tutorial link here. And there's actually a lot of different tutorials on the Chromebooks that are helpful for you, but specifically there's a whole section on accessibility features, so you can dig into those and take a look at those. There is also a fantastic website all about Chromebook accessibility features because I have just a short amount of time with you guys today. So I did want to show you here, they have all of these different features and you can click on all of these to learn more. So they have accessibility features for students who have different visual needs, audio needs, listening needs, and motor needs. And like, let's say we want to learn about one more of these, we can go ahead and click on it. And it's going to take us to that relevant section where you can see you can customize your captions, you can turn on mono audio, you have spoken feedback, select to speak. So they go through all of the different settings, and there are sometimes links for how to do some of these. So this is a really helpful way to look at some of the accessibility features. And if you keep scrolling here, there are some step-by-step instructions on how to get to that accessibility area and manage all of the different accessibility settings. So I strongly encourage you to check this out, especially if you know that you have a learner who has some of these different needs in your classroom, or even if you don't, it's just good to know how to turn on captions or how to change the display so that it's most helpful for your students. And there's also a link here on using Chromevox, that is Chrome's Read Aloud Assistant. The final thing that I wanted to go over with you today as an accessibility tool is the Immersive Reader extension. So Microsoft has a tool called Immersive Reader, and Immersive Reader is super helpful. However, Microsoft has only partnered to integrate it in certain products. Like Schoology has an integration, for example, or PowerPoint has an integration. But if I'm on like Wikipedia or one of my curriculum websites, I may or may not have that integration. So there is an Immersive Reader extension. It has been approved for all students to install, and that means they can use Immersive Reader anywhere on the web. The steps are here on the slide. They would need to click on this link and add that to their Chromebook, or you can add it to your Chrome browser to test it out. And then once you have added that, you can find any text on the web and highlight it. So what I'm going to do here is I have this article on Martin Luther King, and I need some help reading this. I need to use that Immersive Reader extension. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all the text I need help with, right click on it, and for Chromebook users, it's a 2-finger tap on their trackpad. So they use 2 fingers and the tap. That will bring up this right click menu, and there'll be a new option after they install the extension that says help me read this. They're going to click on that, and that is going to pull up the Immersive Reader viewer. And so now they can listen to the words.
Martin Luther King Jr., born Michael King Jr.
They can come in here, they can come into text preferences, they can change the font size. So if they do have some visibility issues, they can adjust that. They can increase and decrease the spacing to make things more comfortable. They can change the contrast If black on white is hard, they could flip it to white on black. They have some grammar options they can dig through, and they have line focus that they can turn on if they need help kind of focusing on those lines. And there's even a translate function, which is new here. So they can even translate it into another language, like maybe French. And if I do by word or by document, it's going to translate the entire thing for me, which is going to lead us into Victor Soria's presentation here in just a moment. But I did want to show you that. And then at any point, they just hit this back arrow and it takes them right back to where they were. So super easy to use. All they have to do is install the extension, highlight the text, right click on it or 2-finger tap and say, help me read this. And that immersive reader pops right up for them. Okay, and since we saw a little bit of translation with Immersive Reader, I'm going to go ahead and now turn it over to Victor Soria for Microsoft Translator, which is even more in depth. So Victor, whenever you're ready, feel free to share your screen and take it away.
Oh, thank you. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Okay, can you see that?
Yep, it says conversation code.
Yeah, it might help if I go to the beginning.
All right, yep, you're good.
So one of the features that I did want to share just really quickly, tangential, is this little caret down here in the bottom left-hand corner, and you're in a Google presentation mode, you can actually toggle on closed captions. So now it will it'll put the closed captions down at the bottom. So that being said, I'm Victor Soria. I teach over at Grace Davis High School. I'm the EdTech liaison for our site this year, and I found this really cool tool that I thought would be helpful in with my multilingual learners this year. And I've been using it for about a month now, and it's been working really well. I fine-tuned it in order to be able to share it with you and worked out the kinks. And so here we go. What is Microsoft Translator? So it's a powerful tool. It allows you to communicate with students who speak different languages. Just speak or type the message and the app does the rest. So what I would like for you to do now, if you could, is currently you can only access it with your phone. So you're going to need to download this app. So on the left-hand side, you have the Android. On the right-hand side, iPhone or iOS. So I'll take a minute. You can use that code with your phone if you could download the Microsoft Translator app. And I will be using a demonstration on a student device of what it looks like. But for teachers, you do need to have the app loaded up on your phone. So if you don't have your phone, that's okay. Again, I'll show you a demonstration of what it looks like on the student end. But in order for the teacher to use it, you do need to download the app. I know it takes a minute or two, maybe about another 10 seconds. And if you just wanted to watch the presentation and download it later, this will be on the slides. Okay, I'm moving on. Are we ready? So here is a student view. Okay, if you have downloaded the app onto your phone, you can follow along to see what the student view would look like, and then I'll give you a live demonstration. So from your phone, you're going to go to the website translate.it. What I found with that was that this link does not currently work on our teacher devices. It has to do with Microsoft not upgrading and supporting now the Microsoft Translator app. So it only works on Windows 11 devices and above, and currently our devices are Windows 10. However, this site does work on a student Chromebook. So once you're able to open up the Microsoft Translator app, should look like this. It'll say Translator, join code, username, language. So moving on to the next one. You want to enter the 5-letter conversation code, enter your name, select the target language. If English is your only language, go ahead and leave English selected. If you're fluent in another one, pick that one. Once you've entered the conversation code and your name and your target language, click Join Conversation. So give me 1 second. Let's give you that conversation code. It is XRZQL. So I can see that 3 people have already joined my conversation on my app. Hey, thanks, Raphael. See that you joined that session. I'm gonna leave that up there for another second. XRZQL. Okay, let's move on. So as the teacher view, this is what I would see on my device. I would open the Translator app, choose the language I want to translate between. For this instance example, I would use English, and then I just start speaking into the app. So when you're ready, you click on the conversation bubbles. It will flip it over, and now you'll see the conversation tab. You'll see conversations that you've already started. You can look at transcripts because it does save your conversations onto your phone. And then you're going to hit start. So you don't want to do that now. You did want to use the join or join code. Again, XRZQL. I'm just showing you the teacher side of it first. Then you'll see at the top the 5-letter code. It's the one that you're going to share with students. However, if the student has the Microsoft Translator app on their phone, you can share an invite code. The student can scan the code like it's over here on the right-hand side, and they can have the Microsoft Translator app on their phone if you wanted to have a one-on-one discussion with that student, and it saves the transcripts. But for this example, we want to see the student device. So once the students have entered the code, you'll see the participants over in the top right-hand corner of the number of participants that are in the conversation. You want to make sure that you remember to turn on your microphone and then enable and disable the presentation mode. If you have it disabled, any of the participants can now join the conversation, and maybe you just want to give instructions and directions. So I'm going to enable my presentation mode. So now all the other participants are muted. I'm going to turn on my microphone. And once you're done, so you should be able to see, I'm sorry, XRZQL. So I am student, it's in Spanish, I'm going to join that conversation. So now this is what the student would see. I'm giving my presentation, I'm doing my lecture, I'm giving instructions for the students, and it translates it live. And it does a pretty amazing job at it. I was really surprised. So let's see if I can do this really quickly. So I went to the store, I went to Target, went and bought eggs and milk and orange juice, and then I bought some more milk, then I drank the milk, then I went back and I got some water, then I went to Target, then I went back to Walmart, I bought some cat food, I bought some dog food, saw a cat, saw a dog, saw a cat climb a tree, then climbed down, then chased the dog chased the cat. Then I went to my car, I got out of my car, I saw the sky was blue, it was raining, then it was foggy, then it was raining again. Then I got in my car, I got out my car, drove over to Target again, drove over to a different Target. So you'll see that it does a pretty darn good job of catching the translation in real time. Now, no way would you ever speak that quickly for your students, but it does an amazing job. So what I do like about this feature is that when it's done, and I want to end this conversation, so now I've done giving my lecture, I'm done giving instructions, maybe it was, hey, here's how to go to Schoology, here's what you're going to do for the day, here are the instructions, here's how to submit the assignment. You can end the conversation. Are you sure you want to exit? Yes. And when I exit, it says the host canceled the meeting, and it allows you to download the transcript. So now a student, if I download it, I can show you what that looks like, has a record of the translation. So it tells me who was in the conversation. Let's see if I can make this a little larger. And now it says every time I spoke, I'm getting my presentation, I'm doing my lecture, and then the translation to the target language. So now it has a record of the things that I said in English, and it has a record of what was the translated version of that. And students can now download this, put it into a their Google Drive. So I have my students create a Google folder for that particular period, and this is where they first download the document and then upload it to their Google Drive, and I have them do it by date. So now they have a record of it by date, and they can go back that evening and see if there's anything that they missed. So let me close that. I'm going to head back here. Again, turn on the captions. Okay, so once you're done, you can exit conversations. As I explained, they have a copy of it. They can delete them at any time if they don't need it, but they can also save it to their Google Drive. So here are just some quick tips and other things to consider. You should have a conversation with your students and explain that everything you will say is now recorded for posterity for good or bad. And that's actually a good tip to remind myself as well. So while the app does a good job of listening and transcribing, it's still a good idea to slow down when you're speaking, attempt to walk through any process, any instructions in a clear and concise manner, and then give students some wait time, because some students may be able to follow along in real time, but they just need a minute or two to read the instructions or read the directions, process that, and then follow along. So while I'm doing this, using the translator, I try to make sure that I'm breaking down my instructions into short little chunks, give a little bit of wait time before I move on. Use the mute feature if you need to. Just don't forget to unmute yourself. And then consistency is key. Having a location where students can find the conversation code. So I put the link to the translator app on Schoology. It's right at the top of my Schoology page for every class. Right before every class period, I put a new code up on the whiteboard. So that's the first thing that students do if they need the translation, if they would like the translation. Some of my students who don't speak a foreign language still use it because they want a record and they're able to follow along with the directions later that day. So they've been using it as well. So thank you for using Microsoft Translator. And one last thing, in case you're wondering what it is I use in my classroom. What I discovered that I was able to keep my phone in my pocket and use it this way. I wore a t-shirt on a Friday that didn't have a pocket. And while that was super inconvenient, so I ran over to Amazon I purchased this little lav mic set. So now you can see that my transmitter is plugged into my phone. My phone now sits at a charger on my desk, and I have a little lav mic that I use. So this is the mic that I use in my classroom. It comes with two, so if one were to die, I can instantly pick up the second microphone and keep going. It cost me about $25. I can't endorse it 100% because I don't know how long it's going to last, but mine was $25, and so far, what I liked best about it, it was truly plug and play. There was nothing to download. There was no settings to go on my phone. I literally plugged the thing in, started talking into the microphone, and it has worked perfectly. Again, don't know how durable they are, but for $25, I needed something quickly and cheaply. So it's been working, and if anybody wants a link to that Amazon website for the one I'm using, again, I've had a couple of teachers purchase the same ones. They had the same experience, plug it in, turn the microphone on, and they were good to go. No additional settings, nothing to download. And I think that was it. Does anyone have any questions? And I can tell you that students have really embraced it. Again, even students who don't speak a foreign language have really benefited from it, and they've told me how much they enjoy it. So I use it every day now. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing, Victor. I think that was really cool. It's amazing to me how far technology has come, that it can not only interpret what we're saying, but also translate it in such lightning quick speed. Like we're living in the future. Our final presenter for today is going to be Christy Driver from Sonoma. So Christy, whenever you're ready, feel free to pop on. And just again, a reminder, there's a Q&A up at the top if you guys have questions. Take it away, Christy.
Ta-da!
There you go.
Thank you. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Christy, and I do have a voice. Here it is, and I do have a picture. This is me, and I'm a teacher at Sonoma. And you know, in 5th grade, and I think in any grade up from elementary all the way to high school, we do collaborate a lot, and it's on our report cards. So it's very important to address those standards for our students. And now that we're using technology, I've been a part of EdTech this is my 3rd year involved in the somewhat of EdTech crew at our district, and learning the standards with EdTech and being able to implement not only report card standards, but technology standards or the its standards. Yeah, so it's really cool. What I did is I made a Canva presentation, and it's an article summary that my students did. I just put the link here in my Schoology that you can see. They click and they automatically go to their Canva, which is really cool because it's embedded into Schoology itself. But what I did is I created this Canva for them. I just basically set it up for different groups, and I embedded a link to an article on different types of ecosystems, and as a partnership, they had to read the article and create a summary, put pictures with captions and fun facts. So as you go through, you can see what they did differently. My hope was not only to assess them for a grade in creating a summary and presenting, because I do have to present this as a team. So I wanted to get those two standard grades, right? But also I want to see how creative they could be, because that's also it's a standard, is their digital creativity. So these 3 groups here, as you can see, they stuck with the background. I was very proud of this group though. They went ahead and they changed the color, the background. They put in different images that they were able to use. So I told them I was very proud of them for doing that. And when I said that, I had another group say, "You wanted us to do that?" It's like, yeah, be creative. So that kind of says the resistance that some students may have when it comes to using technology and putting things into play. So it was a good little lesson for me to talk to the class about using that digital technology. So anyway, what I thought was really cool about this, something I didn't know, is when you just copy an article over, it makes this really neat image here, and you just click it, and it has to do a pop out. It takes you right to the article. So the students were able to easily access that article. Yeah. But as they're working, you know, they're supposed to work together. Look, this group hasn't done anything yet. I'll have to make sure they get stuff done. My takeaways from Canva and using it to collaborate is, first of all, etiquette. Because we had some students, remember these are 10 and 11-year-olds, they would go onto other people's slides and mess around. So we also talked about how to lock the page on Canva. So when you lock it, you're not able to move anything or adjust anything anymore. Because when I shared this with the class, it was purely editor. They were only able to edit, or they are able to edit, rather. So, you know, they could go to any slide, even though they were assigned a certain slide. So I made sure we talked about locking it after they're done. And we only had one incident, which I was very proud of. 34 10-year-olds, pretty good. My other takeaway is it's a really good resource for them to present on their own because of all of the elements that they're able to utilize. So they have different shapes, graphics, if you were to type anything in, and you can also include videos. And it's really interesting to see what they do. That's why I was a little surprised that they weren't that creative. They finally started to manipulate the slide, but overall they were all the same. And I don't know if that was just because their first time using Canva as a class, but hopefully we use it more. But yeah, so anyways, I think it's a great idea. Canva does have a restriction of so many people on at once. So make sure that when you are doing this, it is small sections of students and that they're getting their work done within a time limit because, you know, you have 534 students. So if you have a lot of students like me during one full day, it's hard to get it completed. But I think it's a great way to have them collaborate together and then present together. It's always good to hit double standards, right? Yeah, so that's me.
All right, last up here we have Schoolly and Schoology, and if I'm not mistaken, Matthew Ketchum is with us. So Matthew, I didn't know if you wanted to share a little bit about Schoolly and Schoology, or if you'd like me to do it. All right, while we're waiting to hear back here, I will give you guys a little bit of information. If you're not familiar with what Schoolly is an online tutoring platform for students. We have it available at all of Modesto City Schools K-12, so any student can sign on and get some tutoring help. And it allows students 24/7, any time of day or night, to get help with a live tutor. And these tutors are vetted, they have bachelor's degrees, they have background checks on them, so they're very high quality tutors. It's not just some rando off the street. And students are able to voice chat or text chat with the tutor. We don't allow video, even though video is shown on this slide here, we don't allow video, so they can get help. And like I said, it's available to any grade level. So it's a fantastic resource. And this school year, we were able to integrate it within Schoology, so it eliminates one more step for students if they are interested in getting some tutoring help. So I do have a slide of information here. On the left-hand side here, while we're waiting to hear if Matthew wants to share anything. On the left-hand
I can tell you
Yes.
now, he's currently in talks with someone else right now, so
Perfect.
just move forward.
Okay, sounds good. So on the slide here on the left-hand side, we have a flyer for students. And basically this just shows the students how to get into Schoolly. It's pretty straightforward. They open up Schoology, they go into any of their Schoology courses, does not matter which one. They can find Schooly online tutoring on the side there. They click on it and they get connected with a tutor. They just have some quick questions as to what help they're looking for, and Schooly will find a tutor for them within, it's about 1 to 3 minutes is the wait time. We've seen every now and then the wait time in excess of 5 minutes, but for the most part, within 1 to 3 minutes, students are connected with a tutor and getting support. Schooly also offers written assignment review. So students can take a written assignment, upload it to Schooly, get feedback from a tutor within 24 hours, and make the changes before they submit it to you in Schoology. As teachers, there's also some great resources for you with Schooly and Schoology here. So just really quickly, there's quite a few bullet points here. I just want to reiterate that Schooly is available for all students, regardless of grade level, and it is available 24/7. So it doesn't have to follow any particular day of the week or holiday or anything like that. It is available 24/7, and there's support for all classes, and there are those written work reviews as well. It's also available all school year long. And this is kind of the key driver in why we picked Schooly in particular. There is multilingual support for English, Spanish, Arabic, Hindi, Persian, Hmong, and Filipino. So students who have those different language needs, they can connect a tutor that speaks their native language. Because we know grades were kind of a hot button issue. Progress reports were due last week for our TK6 folks, and quarter grades are going out this week for our 7-12 folks. So grades are hot on the mind. So we are going to be sending out communication to parents in Parent Square all about Schooly. That way, if they're seeing that progress report or they're seeing that quarter grade and, maybe not so happy with what they're seeing, we're going to make sure that they know that Schooly is a resource so that they can get support for their student and help their student grow. Additionally, if you do have some students who maybe need some extra support, as teachers, you can also create Schooly assignments in Schoology. So there are some resources that I've linked for you guys here. We have staff resources, student resources, and parent resources. So I just want to take a look at these support pages really quickly. I'm going to click on student first, just to show you here that we have all kinds of videos for how to get started within Schoology, how to walk through and get a tutor. Excuse me, and then scrolling down, just some additional information here, including the flyer, a poster, and a guided tutorial, and some testimonial videos. There aren't a ton of resources, but that's because it's pretty easy just to click in and get started with Schooly. We also have a staff page, which is linked on the slide deck, but also lives under the Staff Tech Help Center on our district website. So scrolling down here, we have Schooly online tutoring. And within Schooly, we have some instructions here on how to add Schooly to your Schoology course if you want to do an assignment. So there's the external tool route, there's the Schoology assignment route, and there's videos on how to do both of those. And then there are some additional resources here for the students. Just quick steps on how they can get into Schooly. And then for the teachers, some more information for you guys, a flyer, a poster, and a video or handout if you would like to support your students with some Schooly help. So we definitely are wanting to encourage Schooly use this year. We know that Schooly can really help students improve grades, and students are when they use it, they're pretty happy with it. They don't have to wait very long to get connected with a tutor. The tutor does speak their main language. They can do text chat or voice chat, whatever they're most comfortable with. We are not allowing video chat for safety reasons, so they're able to get support. One of the best ways that I've actually heard of Schooly being used is parents are actually signing in with their kids' accounts alongside their kids and getting help with math, because some of the math is so complicated that parents don't know how to support their students at home. So the parents and students are able to join Schooly on the device and kind of sit down together and work with the tutor together, so both the parent and the student get a better understanding of the language, or sorry, the problem. I do see a hand. Victor, did you have a question?
I just wanted to add something really quickly.
Yes,
I
please
had my
do.
students write a one-page rough draft essay, had them submit it to Schoology. I had 72 students. It would have taken me 10 minutes per paper. It saved me about 6 or 7 hours of work, and then I just went and reviewed the final draft. I had students submit what changes they made, and they submitted the document that Schooly gave to them for the changes. And again, it was I saved a day and a half. I saved a weekend by doing that. So I'm really enjoying it. I hope other teachers use that feature.
That is a fantastic piece to share. Thank you, Victor. Anytime that I hear this saved me hours of work, that makes me very happy, because that's not only are we encouraging students to use this for them to get better, but that is fantastic that it saved you time as a teacher as well. So thank you for sharing that. Since we do have a little bit of time, I am going to show you guys this quick video that's right here on the teacher page of how to add Schoology to your course, and then we'll wrap up just a little bit early. But I did want to share this with you guys so that you could see what this looks like if you are interested in doing some sort of Schoology assignment, or if you got inspired by what Victor shared. So let's take a look, but first let me make sure you guys can hear my audio. And we'll see. Okay, this is a little bit of a long video.
So the goal here is to spend the next few.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to jump right into, well, we'll watch this first part here, how students get to Schooly, and we'll watch the next part, and then we'll go ahead and stop after that. There's quite a few chunks of information in this video.
Minutes walking through the key access points available within Schoology for launching the Schooly application, and provide some information on how you can leverage them to maximize uptake of Schooly by your students. So to begin, I'll highlight 2 places on the Schoology interface that require virtually no setup by a course administrator. And then second, I'll provide a bit more of an in-depth demo on how Schooly can be embedded to your course pages as either an external tool, as well as within assignments. And I'll also touch on some of the benefits of these methods. So let's get started using our Schoology demo account, student account. So the first 2 access points for students are very straightforward. The first is located within the App Center space, as well as in the course's main menu. Launching Schooly from either of these places is done in a single click. You can see, for example, that I launched it from the App Center just now, and I'm already redirected to the Schooly landing page. In addition, if I were to click on the application from the course menu, the same outcome is achieved. I'm SSO directly to the Schooly landing page. The benefit of these 2 access points, as I mentioned before, is that they're very easy to set up, and they require virtually no setup by a course administrator. Simply when installing the Schooly application at the district level, these access points can be assigned to any and all courses or groups, and so they'll appear there automatically if you'd like that to be the case. However, depending on, in this particular case, we only have one application, which is Schooly. In some cases, we understand that you may have a number of different applications available to your students. So when clicking into any of these places, there may be other competing applications, which might make it harder for Schooly to stand out among the others. So with that in mind, let's also walk through 2 additional access points, but that do provide benefits in terms of better visibility as well as student engagement. So to do this, I'm first going to switch over to the administrator view. And the first access point that we can talk about is the ability to add Schooly as an external tool within a course materials list. So here you can see that I've already installed Schooly as both an external tool and within an assignment. However, let's go through the steps that I took to get here to give you a sense of how this is accomplished. And please also feel free to chime in and pause or stop me, excuse me, if you have any questions. So the first step for adding Schooly as an external tool is to click on the Add a New Material, followed by Add File, Link, or External Tool. Upon doing so, you'll be presented with this modal. It has a number of different fields here. The first step, and this will be appearing automatically, is to select Schooly Unlimited from the Tool Provider dropdown. And next, you'll want to provide some information about the tool. So in our experience, we find that it's very useful to provide some type of actionable title that can help the student understand what the purpose of the tool is. So for example, we might do something like get online tutoring support using Schooly. The next step is to specify the URL, the Schooly URL, where students will be redirected upon clicking the tool. So again, this information will be made available afterwards, so there's no need to jot it down, but this would be the URL that you would enter. Once you've entered this URL, you have the option, as you do in your normal practice, to individually assign this tool to any students or student groups that you wish. But for the sake of this demo, we'll submit and we'll watch the external tool appear on the course materials list. So with the external tool created, let's also walk through how to create an assignment and how we can embed Schooly as.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here because it's a little bit long and maybe not the most exciting video, but great information. The next section of the video is going to talk about how to create a Schooly assignment as well. So if that's something you're interested in, you can continue to watch the video. The video is linked on the staff support page here on this slide, or if you're on the district website, you can go to staff and go to Tech Help Center, and Schooly is one of the apps that's listed in one of the rows there, and that's where the video lives, the one that we just watched, or you can drill down to just how to do a Schoology assignment. So that's how you use Schooly with your students. And that brings us, we're going to be wrapping up probably just a few minutes early here, so I want to make sure we all have time to do the surveys and stuff. But I do want to take just a moment to remind you of some of the EdTech services that we offer. So we know there's a lot of great EdTech tools out there, but sometimes there's questions on how best to use them. So we have a lot of great ways that as EdTech we can support you. We do have our Tech Help Center websites, which are what we just saw. Those are where the Schooly resources live. We have Help Center websites for a lot of our EdTech tools. We have a teacher one, a student one, and a parent one. We also have our YouTube channel. In case there's any help videos that you would like to look for, you can look for those on our YouTube channel. And we also have help desk support. We have email, we have phone, we have online chat, but sometimes nothing will do except for a training. So if you would like to request training one-on-one, small group, PLC, during your school day, during your prep, there is a schedule here, and that will just ask you some basic questions. You can fill that out and request training from us. And then internally as a team, we kind of figure out the best way, the best person who has the availability, and we make sure that we get that training to you. So I highly encourage you to take advantage of that, especially if there's a tool that you're just not quite comfortable with and you could use a little support on. And it doesn't have to be any of the tools shown today. That's just any EdTech tool. We're happy to support that.